Hello racers around the world, today we are showing you the South American Circuit Superstars League Race 1. And here's a logo that I made for the guys. I hope Vixen is okay with it, he's the one organizing it all. Here we go, my teammate is White Van Man, one of my favorite people in Circuit Superstars. This is my qualifying lap right now, but I will switch to White Van Man in between, so you can see both of our camera angles. Really cool this league, since we drive in the same liveries, so we really have teams here and you can see them represented with the identical liveries, which is a super cool thing. I wanted to do this for a long time. Here you can see White Van Man doing pretty good lines there and setting it on provisional pole.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad, said White Van Man. And here comes my time.
Yeah, 1-2.
You can see the team radio feature, which I always display when White Van Man said something. We will talk more in the next race and use the team radio way more than this. And we'll also have in this race a third camera angle, and that's the one from KENJO. KENJO had a very exciting race. So here's the start. Switch the camera perspective to White Van Man now in P2. As I said, we started from P1 and P2. Muritopin is following White Van Man very closely, and here you can see KENJO, who is really taking care of the other drivers and not to get into a mess, but he did get into a mess. We'll see more in a replay really soon, I think. We'll just have to wait and see. Yes, and here again KENJO very unlucky, even collided with his teammate and basically is in the last positions together with his teammate, so really unlucky there. Would be really good to see the replay now from the start of the race. I don't know if the camera people can actually show us this right now. Yes, here's the replay. And you can see KENJO being pushed out there, and he really tried to not touch anybody, but it was to his own disadvantage, so he fell back to the very end of the grid. Meanwhile for me it's going pretty smooth out front. White Van Man, a bit of pressure from Muritopin, but Muritopin really trying to hang on there for dear life. White Van Man doing a very good job, being consistent, of course, that's how we know him. And Muritopin though holding on quite nicely at this point, not really giving up too easily. So for me out front it's working pretty smooth up to this point. Just doing my laps and yeah, enjoying the track Tilksport, which is inspired by Herman Tilke's track designs. As you can see, I would really appreciate if you subscribe. There's a lot of work going into these videos. I'm always open to hear suggestions from the community, and your subscription just really lets me know that it's worth doing it. I know that people are enjoying the videos, but the more I know it, the better for my motivation. So we switch back to the White Van Man camera, and he is actually building a nice gap here to Muritopin, who is was on his tail for the first couple of laps, but is kinda losing ground now. Not a lot, but enough to yeah, have the mental factor come in of, you know, when you feel I can't really hold on to the guy in front, it just does something to a driver. And we saw White Van Man going into the pits now, very early pit stop in, oh very early, but earlier than usual, in lap 4 basically, start of lap 5. And on the top you see Muritopin actually rolling very lethargically and actually disconnecting, or in his own words, he said it was an engine failure. So that's a way to roleplay in Circuit Superstars. White Van Man, now his task is to do a really good outlap so he can do the undercut on me, but the gap was actually not too bad, so I should stay in front. But I had a giant leg spike coming into the pits, and you see my suspension goes wild, and not the good kind of wild like the old Williams with the active suspension. The suspension went pretty active, but a bit too active. So I'm coming out here now of my pit stop, and the suspension still is tricky and playing with me. It's the lag. The car jumps around, I can't really control anything, and the car just steers wherever almost ruining both and my teammates' race. So as you can see, it's still hopping around, and at this point I feel like I lost the race. So as you can see, now the car has recovered and is working fine again. So I just treat it as a technical defect, and it somehow magically fixed itself. And now I have a big task in front of me, because in practice White Van Man was amazingly fast, and it's pretty hard to catch up here with just 7 laps to go. But on the other hand, I have fresher tires. White Van Man did the undercut, so he had a big advantage for 1 lap, and I chose to have a smaller advantage for several laps. So that's the thinking behind that. Of course, I will put pressure on my teammate here, as we have a good gap to the back, but I will not risk nothing, so I will not spin us out or anything. Yeah, you heard the team radio. White Van Man ordered me through. He realized it's the best for both of us, since there is a difference in our tire performance. And now we see the White Van Man camera. He's in P2. Bixen in P3, and look at that, would you look at that, KENJO, our American driver, back in P4 after dropping all the way back to the field, through the field. And yeah, for me it's now quite easy going in the front, but I'm of course at this point thinking about my next pit stop, afraid of having the leg spike occur once again. So what I was thinking at this point is, maybe I try to come into the pits slower and further away from the walls, because if there's anything in the game that is causing the leg spike to occur, that has anything to do with the environment, then I want to avoid that. I was of course thinking there's a small chance that this is the case, but it's the only thing I can do to try not to crash on my next pit stop. So I was thinking, this is what I'm gonna try. Just before, you saw KENJO closing up again on Bixen, coming ever so closer. And here is my pit stop, lap 9, coming in, and the strategy actually worked. No leg spikes by rolling in slower, and now taking my pit stop, and our team had to do a double pit stop here. White Van Man hurt the Lollipop Man a little bit, and I'm leaving the pits, also avoiding too much of a leg spike. So we both had good pit stops, mine slightly smoother here because my Lollipop Man still has both legs in working order, and White Van Man actually finds himself behind Root GTR. So Root GTR is in front of him, and I would suspect, yeah, it definitely looks like he's on very old tires. So White Van Man losing a lot of time now. So we're gonna have to talk about this at the race debrief with our engineers, because White Van Man should have not came out behind Root GTR. Root GTR now going into the pits though, so White Van Man regaining his second place, which in fact was actually always his. So Root GTR on a completely different strategy, that's what I mean by that. And you see KENJO now really closing up in big steps to Bixen. So this is gonna be an exciting battle for P3 or even a race victory. Who knows how the race ends. So of course I'm recording this afterwards, but I want to keep it exciting for those of you who don't know yet how the race ended. So I posted the new fastest lap time here. It's actually comparably slow to my usual races on this track, but I kind of wanted to play it safe when I saw how big the lead actually is, not to risk anything, because I often risk too much when I'm leading just by doing time trials basically during a race. And here we see KENJO really preparing an overtake very nicely and far ahead, so they are now on the back straight, and KENJO really got the inside, so he really fought for that, and I would say that's a well-deserved P3. Of course, very unfortunate for Bixen, who did a great race so far as well, and there can only be one P3, so they had to battle it out, and in the end, fun is in the battles. If you have a good battle, for me personally, I prefer to lose out in a good battle than to win in a bad one. So we are now approaching almost the final lap of the race of the South American Circuit Superstars League, the Sacsl, if I spelled that correctly. And I invite you join the Discord server of the Sacsl and take part, because Bixen is really taking care of this league. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, so you can create your own teams and join us. So we are in the middle of the final lap now. White Van Man is basically about one straight behind me at the moment. Would be less, of course, if there wouldn't have been the incident where he landed behind the back marker after his pit stop. But that's it, and I'm approaching the start-finish line. If I don't do nothing wrong anymore, I have the win in the pocket, so that's a great feeling. But the even greater feeling is that White Van Man now crosses the finish line. Yeah, a sigh of relief from White Van Man here, and really happy that we have P1 and P2 a double victory for the first race of our team. So here is the classification for you all to check out. It's a victory for Minardi Simsport in the best way possible. And once again, I'd be very happy if you'd subscribe to my channel, like the video, ask me anything you want down below in regards to Circuit Superstars, and go check out KENJO'S video. He made a video himself about this race, and he has a Twitch channel as well. The links for all of this are in the description down below, as well as for the Circuit Superstars South American League. And this is it. Minardi Simsport, over and out. Thanks for watching.